Audio check 1 2 3. Audio check. Welcome along everybody to the Red Thunder Racing League as we're here tonight for the fourth round of season 1 here for this 10-round season. My first time commentating on Red Thunder. I was invited along by the league owner Ocean Crew, who races in at least a couple of the leagues that I commentate on earlier on in the week. And we've got news actually from the pit lane from one of the drivers, Ocean Crew, that we are expecting a wet race a bit later on. So that's going to be very exciting for us later on. At the moment we've got a dry qualifying session for the time being, so if it's dry for the whole session we'll be seeing times improving as we go on. If it gets wet towards the end, then I'm sure that the end of the session might be a little bit of a procession, but nonetheless, here we are then for this fourth round of the season. We've got 13 drivers on the track. I think the numbers are a little bit lower because of the fact that the World Cup's on, and also, more importantly, England is on in about an hour and a half, so I reckon probably a lot of people are at the pub and stuff like that, or at parties, and just, you know, but obviously I'm not, you guys are not, and the drivers out here have turned up in their, well, to be fair, plenty of them. There's a pretty decent sized grid when you remember that, so that's great to see. We've got Kerry there saying welcome to Red Thunder Racing. Thank you very much, Kerry. Thank you, thanks for having me. We've also got Ocean Crew saying wet race, and A up says Ocean Crew as well, obviously the driver who invited us along for tonight. So lots to get excited about over the course of this Wednesday evening. Actually, the first time I've managed to find a league that runs on a Wednesday. Been looking for a Wednesday league for God knows how long. So yes, this is great for me. It's giving me something else to do during the week. But at the moment, we've got only 2 drivers on out laps at the moment, getting ready to go for flying laps. We've got a couple of drivers on flying laps. Enksy and also Elks is out there as well, or EGXRQ. I've got to find a quick way to say your name. I'm gonna think of it over the next 15 minutes. But anyway, I think it's going to be EJX to do the first flying lap of the session. Tattyman just started a lap. Enksy is actually going to be the first driver to complete a lap here by the looks of it. Let's jump on board here with the Haas driver as we're coming towards the end of the lap. Have we backed off of this? I'm not sure. I think I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see what Enksy's up to here as we come into the final corner. No, it looks pretty committed at the moment, so Enksy will be the one to open up the qualifying session here as we come over the line. What's it going to be? 106.3 there from Enksy to kick things off. EJX coming around the final corner now. Let's see what we're able to put on the board here. And a little way adrift of Enksy at the moment is EJX. We've got Tattyman here in the background over the line, half a second adrift there of Enksy. So the only other driver out there on a flying lap at the moment is the league admin Ocean Crew. And let's see what Ocean Crew can do here. Obviously was involved in a title decider last week on Thursday evening, so 6 days ago. That was in the Misfits League being run by John, and unfortunately came up short in that one. Ended up finishing runner-up in the championship. But Ocean Crew out here tonight with a point to prove. 105.7, although 6/10 adrift of Clayt, who's managed to do a 105.1, so that is a phenomenal lap time there from Clayt, I have to say. So Clayt currently setting the pace there from Ocean Crew. Enksy sat in 3rd place with Tattyman in 4th, and EJX currently rounding out the drivers who have done flying laps so far here in this session. We've got Yeet Mendab out there on the track at the moment. Was a driver, I recognise that name. I think that was last Thursday in the Misfits League. I think we saw Yeet Mendab, and I think Yeet Mendab might have even been the driver that almost derailed Ocean Crew's championship rivals charge for the title, I think, on the second lap of the race. If I remember correctly, I think it was quite a defining moment, which ended up actually not being an issue at all. Good to see John out on track as well, and Ernie. Familiar names, plenty of familiar names. Dazza as well, although John and Ernie, I think, I've raced him, I've commentated on both of their own leagues, so it's good to see those guys out on track here. Badman as well, a familiar face on the PlayStation side of F1, and obviously now with crossplay, you see people from all walks of life and all platforms on the Formula 1 game here. But currently Clayt setting the pace here in the early stages of this Austrian Grand Prix here tonight for the qualifying session. We've got Ernie over the line to go in P3 there, about 0.8 of a second off, 8/9 off at this moment in time. Who else is on lap time here? We've got Tattyman here, who's a fraction up on personal best coming through the first sector. Let's see what Tattyman's able to do. It's lost 2/10 in the middle sector, so it's unlikely to be an improvement here for Tattyman. I think we've backed out of that one there through the middle sector. Enksy back into the pits for a fresh set of boots. Badman still hasn't left the pits yet. I wonder if Badman's not a driver who is any stranger to doing a last to first challenge, so have to keep an eye on that. That might be one to watch here. Badman could be looking to sort of sit in the pits and wait for that. But got Kerry there saying that was some race. I watched that one. Obviously talking about the Qatar race last week, the championship decider at the Misfits F1 League being run by John. Obviously he's the admin of the Misfits F1 League. But yeah, Ocean Crew did well, to be fair. I thought in the late safety car there might have been a chance. Obviously it was a really, really audacious move that Ocean Crew went for. I think it was trying to do 20 laps, I think, on the set of soft tyres, which is, you know, if you get them off the blocks nicely and gain some positions and try and make a break for it, that's the only way it's going to work. But it wasn't to be. But nonetheless, it was a great effort from Ocean Crew. We've got Free Mrs Palmer up into third place there. It's about 7/10 off of the pole time at the moment, but only a tenth off of Ocean Crew in second place. So the two Astons currently doing a decent job here in the early stage of this one. John here is just coming through the middle sector at the moment, through turn 3, and let's keep an eye on him as he has got fairway left here in this one. So he's coming through the first of the two left-handers, which I think this one's called Lauder, I think. And here we go. So half a second up here is John on his personal best. If he can keep this sort of momentum up throughout the rest of the lap, then he will be able to get it into P6 at a Tatted Man. If he can find a second, he'll be in P5. So John here with a lot to prove. Here he comes then through the final corner of the lap here at the Red Bull Ring, and he goes extremely wide there. Hopefully track limits is on regular. If it's on strict, then he's going to be done for. So it's P6 there for John after that lap. As Yeet Mendab says hello. Hello Yeet Mendab, welcome along. Good to see you tuning in here on the stream. See you end up out on track at the moment as well. Currently yet to set a lap time in this session, so be hoping that to get one on the board, I'm sure, in a few moments' time. We've got Clates back out on the track here. Enksy also has re-emerged out onto the circuit. John obviously on an in-lap after that time, which is good enough for P6 so far. Sedders P11, obviously yet to set a lap time. Sedders is a driver who could be a contender. I've seen Sedders in battling for the wins in a few leagues that I've covered over the last sort of year or so. So this is going to be an exciting one, because you've got drivers like Sedders and Dazza and Badman, all drivers who are capable of taking that top spot. So it's going to be very interesting to watch as we see Ash putting it into P3 there. So a lot of drivers clustered really. You've got actually a gap of about 0.3 between second and fifth. So 4 drivers really close together. But you've got Clate, who's quite a way ahead at the moment by 0.6 of a second ahead of Ocean Crew. Yeet Mendab here says was going for a 106, but invalidated the last run. That's not, yeah, I'll be up there, I'll be in amongst it, Yeet Mendab, for sure. So looking forward to seeing Yeet Mendab putting a time on the board, hopefully pretty shortly. Ash is currently on an in-lap, so that's going to be that for the time being. Clate is on a... is that... oh, that was an out-lap. It's just finished, so now he's on a flying lap here. So Clate here into turn 2. Currently a 10th off for personal best there in the middle sector is Clate. So we don't know whether or not this is going to be an improvement on the provisional pole time, but I'll tell you what, if it is, then it's going to be very ominous for the others, because the gap is already pretty significant here between Clate and Ocean Crew. So Clate here just needs to really, I think, just find about a couple of tenths here in the next 2 sectors. Obviously a tenth down in the first sector. Here we come then. Clate's found a little bit of time in this middle sector. It's a bit closer to that personal best, which is good enough so far for provisional pole. Here comes Clate then into the final couple of corners here. It's what's it going to be, as we see Sedders there moving up into P2, only 0.4 off of the pole time. Here comes Clate though, out of the final corner. Is this going to be improvement here for the provisional pole sitter? It is very fractionally by 0.5 of a second, so not much there of an improvement from Clate. Maybe that first sector just ruined the chances of getting a improvement to that time there, because obviously the track is improving at this point in the session. So Clate, we would think, would be finding time, but I think that first sector may have just been a small, I don't know, maybe ran a bit wide or didn't take enough speed through one of the apexes. But nonetheless, that's Clate's second lap of the session done, as Ocean Crew there moves up into third place. Well, was already in third place, improved his lap there by 0.6 of a second. So barely improved at all, but fractional improvements there from Ocean Crew. Badman goes into second place there, just 0.3 off of the provisional pole time, so it's going to be pretty close up the front, you've got to say. Clate, Badman, Sedders. Daz is still yet to do a lap. I know Daz has got some pace on this F1 game. F125 was good for Dazza. What about F126? Dazza so far not in the mix. Currently about 7-8 off of the provisional pole time at the moment, so work to do there for Dazza. So Yeet Mendab about to start a lap here. Let's ride on board here with Yeet Mendab, who's been vocal in this comment section so far in this one. Here we come then through the final corner. Let's see as he's coming over to start what's going to be hopefully his first lap time on the board here in this Austrian Grand Prix qualifying session here for the Red Thunder Racing League here tonight. Coming through turn 1, looking pretty committed there. Up the hill we go. It's a long run up to turn 2, so the exit out of turn 1 is absolutely pivotal to your lap time. And Yeatman Dab here spots the braking point. It gets it turned into the apex very nicely there, hooked up beautifully. Just managed to tap the apex, kiss it as he was going past it, and now down the hill towards turn 3 we go. And braking not too late there, just missing the apex there by about half a metre, but nothing too major. Definitely getting some decent speed there, getting onto the power nice and early into Lauder, and oh, that was lovely there from Yeatman. Absolutely pitch perfect there as he came through. Being a bit cautious there on the entry, taking plenty of curb there on the exit is Yeatman Dab down towards the final couple of corners, wide onto that white line there as he approaches this tricky section of the track, and keeping it well within track limits here is Yeatman Dab. I think just wants to get a time on the board by the looks of it, and maybe there might be a few tenths in that left over, but Yeatman Dab goes P10 and it's on a 106.2 so far, so just about a second off for the true pace at the moment. But that looked to be a bit of a cautious lap there from Yeatman Dab, I think, and maybe there's a bit more time there in that one. But Clay, for the time being, currently still P1 here in this session by 0.3 of a second. Badman and Sedders both in the pits at the moment, so they're going to figure probably a bit later on here in this qualifying session. They'll be saving their best till last, I'm sure about that. Clay though, the provisional pole sitter at the moment, just starting a lap. We've got 3 Mrs Palmer coming through the final couple of corners here, currently P5 here in this session. Here we come then through the final corner, and actually it does appear this has been a bit of a botched lap here from 3 Mrs Palmer, so this is going to be another lap in a moment, I'm pretty sure. Dazza though finding time, although pitting at the end of that lap, so clearly not finding enough time. Dazza throwing in the towel for the time being. So really now we've got to watch Clay, the provisional pole sitter, to see if the wounds can be opened further for his opponents. Clay here through the middle section of the lap, looking pretty tidy here, using plenty of the curb, and a very aggressive there on the exit, got onto the power very nice and early. Here we come then down towards the final couple of corners here for the Williams driver, provisional pole sitter here for this Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Thunder Racing League. And now into the final corner here. Clay looks very good so far. Is it going to be into the 104s? No, just misses out on the 104s. A 10th improvement there from Clay, and we're still on provisional pole obviously by about 0.4 of a second over Badman, who's currently just still in the pits at the moment. Sedders is out there on a outlap at the moment, currently half a second off of the provisional pole time, so a lot to do here for Sedders for the time being. Teammate of the provisional pole sitter. So far we've got 3 Mrs Palmer coming over the line, P4 there for 3 Mrs Palmer, so 0.6 off for the pole time. Not bad at all there from the Aston driver. Ocean Crew, the league owner, currently also the other Aston driver out on the track, but currently on an outlap as it stands. We've got a Haas just up ahead of Ocean Crew as well. That's Enksy there, who's just coming down towards turn 3 for the time being. What about John? John is appears to be on a I think an outlap here, or is it? No, it's a timed lap. So John, I think, might be on an in lap here. Currently P11 in this session. Is John going to be coming into the pits? Doesn't go in the pit lane, but yeah, he's staying out, and it's going to go for another run, I think, in a moment's time here. Let's jump aboard with John. Let's see what he's able to do here as he comes over the line. That's a spot where he's gaining time, where he's losing time. Let's try and figure this out. So John into turn 1, cautious on the entry. Didn't take too much of a wide entry, but here he comes up the hill. Got a driver just exiting the pit lane up there. I think that's actually, I don't know who that is, to be fair, at the moment, but John nonetheless up the hill towards turn 3, braking. Oh, very late there from John. Oh dear, that's not what you want. Yeah, he brakes about 75 metres away from the corner. You want to be braking around that 100 metre marker up the hill there. Obviously you're going at high speed. The uphill braking zone does help a bit, but yeah, it's too late that. You're braking far too late for that one. But Sedders here about to finish what looks to be a botched lap here from Sedders, so we'll be seeing Sedders putting in a lap pretty shortly. Who else is out there at the moment? We've got Tattyman improving through the middle sector. Let's see what Tattyman can do over the line. Here we come then, and it's P11 there, so moves up 1 place ahead of John for the time being. EJX retired from the session quite early on here, so he's not going to be moving up from P13. But luckily for EJX, there's no one joining the session, so looks like it will be P13. Oh, I'm going to need some water before we start the race. But Sedders here on a flying lap. Let's see what Sedders is able to do. currently in third place at the moment. Just seen the provisional pole sitter has now left the pits for another run here in this session. So Clate's going to be one to watch. And the closest stages has said us they're getting it all wrong. Going through Lauder Curve. Got on a bit too wide there onto the entry. I think maybe dipped a wheel on the grass. And Seda's there for the time being. That's pole position out the window. But does he have enough tyres? Does he have enough fuel to get around for another run here? It's going to be crucial now for Seda's. If he's got enough fuel, he'll be able to put another lap in here at the end of the session. But that is not at all what Seda's would have wanted there. Are we staying out for one more run? Looks like we are. And it's got plenty of gap to the rest, to anybody else at the moment. So Seda's is going to go for another run here, but that was a big moment there going into turn 4. Got Ocean Crew just coming through turn 3 at the moment. Let's see, just coming up to the corner to where Seda's had that moment a few moments ago. So Clate currently on an outlap. Badman still in the pits. Badman needs to get out, and he has done. There he is. He's just emerging from the pit exit now. Ocean Crew currently 300ths down through the middle sector. If he can find a couple of tenths in the final sector, maybe, just maybe, might be able to sneak onto the second row of the grid. Here he comes then, Ocean Crew into the final corner here at the Red Bull Ring. He's got fuel for another lap here. Let's keep an eye as Ocean Crew over the line, and can't improve. P6 still there for Ocean Crew. Yeet Mendab coming over the line. P10 at the moment there for Yeet Mendab, so not too shabby at all. YouTube Banksy here still in P8, just has finished that lap. Ash has gone wide. Ash is onto the runoff area there and has retired from the session, so clearly pushed the limits a little bit too much there. Free Mrs. Palmer just starting a flying lap. We've got Dazza, who seems to have backed off. He's 4 seconds off through the first sector. Clate, the provisional pole sitter, has had a scruffy first sector of the lap here, so he's going to need to put this all on the final lap of the session, as Ernie has come from nowhere there to put it into P2, just ahead of Badman by 300ths of a second. Where has that one come from? Ernie has pulled one out of the bag there brilliantly, but with the track improvements coming in now, that might not be second place for very long here. Clate, the provisional pole sitter, is about to start another lap here. We've got Sellers just coming up the hill towards turn 2, so contenders for pole, realistically I think it's going to be between, it could actually be between the top 7, but I reckon it's probably going to be Clate on pole by a fair way as well. We'll have to see. But Seda's here currently in P4. It's going to be a battle for second place, so I'll tell you what, it could be a 6-way battle for P2 here in this qualifying session. There's a lot of drivers from 2nd down to 7th place. But Seda's nonetheless is coming through turn 4 at the moment. Let's keep an eye. Oh, and he's done it again. He needs to change his setup before the race. That is a disaster waiting to happen there for Seda's. If he does that on the first lap of the race and he's ahead of some other drivers, then he's going to be causing an absolute melee. So I don't think he actually got wide. I don't think he made a mistake, so to speak. I think the car, whatever setup he's got, just can't handle that corner at all. Yeah, look at that. I mean, he just needs to go back to basics. He needs to go back to whatever got him that 105.5, because clearly that is just a problem waiting to happen there for Seda's. And obviously we're expecting wet conditions as well, so yeah, that's not going to work at all. And in fact, Mark Ferme, so I don't know how he managed that time with that car, because it's not working at all for him. Badman there, 2 tenths off of the pole time. He's just done a lap there, good enough for P2. Pushes Ernie down a position. We've got Dazza there over in 4th place. So that's going to be that, I think, for the qualifying session. One driver left out there, that's Yeet Mendab, who's 3 tenths down through the middle sector. So needs an absolute miracle in this final sector to move himself up a position, let alone for pole. But Yeet Mendab there, P10. Pardon me, that was a hiccup. But that is that then for the qualifying session. So it's Clate there putting it on pole position by a fair way as well. By, well, actually 2 tenths in the end, to be fair. Badman did a very respectable lap right at the end of the session there, so he wasn't miles ahead. But that is that then for the Austrian Grand Prix here for round 4 of 10 for the Red Thunder Racing League. And it's Clate there taking pole ahead of Badman in 2nd. Ernie P3 ahead of Dazza, followed by Free Mrs. Palmer and Seda's. Ocean Crew, Ash, YouTube Banksy and Yeet Mendab completing the top 10, with Tatty Man, John and EJX there rounding out the classification. Here we go, straight into the race, and it's Clay underway. But Badman gets a great start off the line there. Looks like he's got the lead in here into turn 1. So Badman's pulled off a great start there as Ceddars there, moving up into 4th place around the outside of Dazza here into turn 1. We can see there 3 Mrs. Palmer tapping Dazza in the rear as they come out of turn 1. Tatty Man's up in position, John's up in position. Enksy there has had a horrendous start. Enksy is in all sorts of trouble here on this opening lap. He's down to the back of the pack into 13th place. Didn't quite see what happened there. You might have seen it on the if you rewind it, or you might have seen it live, I'm not sure, but Ceddars nonetheless has managed to be passed by Dazza. Dazza's got back up into 3rd place there. Clay is going backwards there on the exit of turn 2, so the pole sitter there has had an absolutely horrendous start to the race. Badman leading though ahead of Ernie at the moment. There's Ernie ahead of Dazza, followed by Ceddars. 3 Mrs. Palmer there getting around the outside there of Ceddars up into 4th. Oh no, sorry, getting looking up the inside, should I say, of Ceddars going out of turn 3, and 3 Mrs. Palmer tucks in for the time being. 3 Mrs. Palmer's teammate there in P6 Ocean Crew, Clay there, is down to 7th place on this first lap. This is a disaster here for Clay. Ash is in 8th ahead of Yeatman Dab P9, followed by Tatty Man, EJX, John and Enksy there, rounding out the classification here in this race as Clay's lost another position here to Ash. Clay is down to 7th place. Did Clay go for a dry setup there for that qualifying session, and is it costing him enormously in this race? Looks like Clay's actually not at the wheel, or is it maybe because actually no, I think Clay's not there, so Clay's disconnected on the opening lap of the race, and that has given Badman and Ernie the P1 and 2 at the moment. Dazza and Ceddars not too far away, but a lot of drivers here in big trainer cars in wet conditions. You often expect a big field spread even after the first lap, but it looks like they've kept it pretty tight for the time being. There's Ernie here still a little bit too far back on Badman there going into turn 2 for the time being. Dazza, Ceddars looking to be passed here potentially by Mrs. Palmer, but Ceddars holding it around the outside for the time being. Mrs. Palmer here is going to look to the inside coming down towards turn 3, but look at this, Ocean Crew is looking pretty hot on the heels of these two as well, as Mrs. Palmer just looking down the inside here of Ceddars into turn 3, and that would be a speculative move there from Mrs. Palmer, and it looks like Ceddars is able to hold it around the outside for the time being as they come down towards turn 4, so Ceddars there with the inside is going to hold on to that one for the time being, as John's gone ahead of EJX up into 11th place, and that's a job done there for John. But these two here, Ceddars and 3 Mrs. Palmer, having an absolutely cracking battle here for 4th place. Ceddars has managed to cling on to that one for the time being. Ocean Crew's just waiting in the wings behind these two, hoping to feast on any scraps that they leave behind. Enksy in the meantime has picked off EJX for P12. I'm noticing that one on the timing board as we see the Haas there almost losing it in the background there. No, it's not the Haas, sorry, the Cadillac, should I say. I do apologise. Similar liveries, but anyway, Badman, Ernie, Dazza the top 3 there. Ceddars, 3 Mrs. Palmer, Ocean Crew, Ash, Yeatman Dab ahead of Clay with Tatty Man. A bit of a gap back to John there, running in 11th place ahead of Enksy, followed by EJX for the time being. But the leaders here coming up towards turn 2 here on lap 3 of the race. Looking like they're all holding position for the time being. Ernie though is very hot on the heels of Badman at the moment. Obviously Badman took the lead off of the line ahead of Clay, got an absolutely brilliant start, did Badman, but since then Ernie is not letting him off the hook and certainly letting him know. Oh, it's Ernie, big slide there going through turn 2, my goodness me, did well to hold on to that, and to be fair it doesn't seem to have cost him at all, but he had to really correct that as he went through that corner, and yeah, to be honest, he's made very light work of that. Actually, I have to say, yeah, some pretty impressive stuff there from Ernie. But they're all pretty much line astern at the moment, from 1st down to 8th place. They're all within a second of each other. And Clay just struggling to keep with this train of cars, this lead pack at the moment, as Tatty Man is potentially starting to reel him in a little bit here for P9. Battle between 3 Mrs. Palmer and Ocean Crew looking to heat up a bit at the moment as well. Perp Drunk's just joined the session. Maybe the 7:30 start time memo didn't reach Perp Drunk potentially, but nonetheless we've got lap 4 of the race, and Ceddars there looking to the inside, way too far back to even consider a move there on Dazza for the time being, but just had a little think about it as John here is being passed by Enksy up into 11th place into turn 1, and his teammate there making light work of that one up into 11th place. As Dazza here knocking on the door of Ernie, but Ernie's still sticking to the back of the race leader like glue at the moment. I'll tell you what, Badman's made a mistake there out of turn 2. Badman's had an absolute horror show. He's dropped down to P4. Ernie now leads the race here on lap 4 of this Austrian Grand Prix at Red Thunder, and Dazza's still on the back of him as well. These two have been nip and tuck, but now they're battling for 1st and 2nd instead of 2nd and 3rd. Badman, I think, just got a little bit heavy onto the power. Must have done coming out of turn 2. Must have got a little bit of a... Must have got too much wheel spin coming out of turn 2, and that's obviously cost him 3 positions here in this lap so far. So Badman will be looking to just get his head back in the game here and just try and go again, take a little deep breath and get himself back in the zone again. But that's not going to be what he would have wanted at all at this early stage in the race. Clate's AI is still at the wheel, so at the moment Clate seems to be well, AWOL at the moment, which is not what you want. Obviously being on pole position, it's a golden opportunity to take the win, but so far it's not working out here. Nonetheless, Seda's here looking to the outside of Dazza into turn 2. Is this going to be job done? I think it is. Seda's there, makes that move brilliantly there on the McLaren driver, but now looks to be even hotter on the heels of Ernie here as well. So Dazza's been running in P2 right behind Ernie for a while. Here comes Seda's looking to the inside. It's going to be 2 moves in 1 lap here for Seda's, and the race lead here on lap 5 of this Austrian Grand Prix. It's going to try and complete this move on the exit of the corner as Ernie keeps it there, but Seda's has got that one completed coming into turn 4. Brilliant move there from the Williams driver. So Seda's there. I got the move done on Dazza coming into turn 2 up the hill and then down the hill into 3. Absolutely brilliant overtake on the long time leader there, Ernie. Well, not long time, I mean he's been leading since about lap 3 when Badman made his mistake, but nonetheless that's Seda's there up into P1 as Badman struggling to keep with his top 3 a little bit here. Has dropped away by about a second on Dazza, who's running in that final podium spot. There's Free Mrs. Palmer, who's still on the back of Badman as well. Ocean Crew has been stuck to the back of Mrs. Palmer for about 4 laps now as we go into turn 1. Enksy there with a 3-second penalty, so that's going to be biting him on the bum at the end of the race for sure. Ash has also got a 3-second penalty for track limits, so they're being handed out willy-nilly here tonight as Dazza making a move on Ernie coming into turn 2. He's going to try and go around the outside here potentially. Is that going to be job done there for Dazza? I think it is, and Ernie can't do anything about that, so Dazza into P2 now. Looking like Seda's and Dazza and the drivers with the pace at the moment. And in qualifying, obviously Badman and Ernie were the top 2, but it looks like those two no match for Seda's and Dazza in these early stages here in the wet conditions. In the meantime, looking like Free Mrs. Palmer and Ocean Crew, the 2 Astons, are really trying to pile the pressure on the back of Badman right now. Badman, for whatever reason, not happy in these conditions. As here goes Ocean Crew looking down the inside of Free Mrs. Palmer. Is that going to be job done here for Ocean Crew? It looks like it is. Ocean Crew up into 5th place there with quite an aggressive move there going through turn 5 and has managed to complete it beautifully there. Badman continues to drop off at the top 3. Has now got Ocean Crew as the lead Aston car, putting under pressure here. It's not Free Mrs. Palmer anymore, it's now Ocean Crew looking to occupy this 4th place pretty shortly, I would have thought. Seda's in the meantime, race leader does the fast step of the race there on lap 6, now nearly 2 seconds clear of Dazza and Ernie out the front. But Ocean Crew here is trying to get something done here with Badman. Up the hill we go towards turn 2. Is he going to be able to send one up the inside here into turn 2? Seems like he might be a little bit too far away at the moment. And tucks in for the time being then. Kerry, I don't have Clayton's EA ID. I can only invite using EA ID when I'm in the lobby, but also I don't have Clayton's EA ID on my friends list. I can only invite as a spectator if you have someone already on your list. You can't send invites in spectator mode. I found that out the other day. It's a bit annoying. So we've got a couple of battles going on here near the front. We've got Ernie knocking on the door of Dazza's 2nd place for the time being. Obviously Ernie lost out to Seda's and Dazza over the last couple of laps. Seda's was running in 3rd place for a few laps and then made the move on both of them in a space of a couple of corners, passed them one straight after the other, and has just absolutely left them for dead over the last couple of laps. Seda's is now showing tremendous pace at this still very early stage in this race. But Ernie here is trying to get something done here with Dazza, as we've now got Ocean Crew and being passed around the outside by his teammate. Free Mrs. Palmer back up into 5th place. Ash is right there looking to capitalise on these guys battling it out as we go up to the hill towards turn 2 once again. Ash looking to try and creep around the outside. Oh, but the Aston there, the lead Aston, just held him up there a bit in the braking zone. That allows Ocean Crew to get back up the inside on the exit of the corner. So Ash there getting slightly impeded there by the other Aston, allowing his rival Aston to get on the inside there. Here we come then, down towards turn 3 once again. Ash trying to dance around the outside of Ocean Crew, but can't do it, and is now vulnerable here to the Cadillac of Yeet Mendab as well, as Yeet Mendab looking to try and join this party of cars here, fighting it out in the mid pack at the moment, but Ash has to tuck in for the time being as they go through turn 4. But I tell you what, this is a great battle here, as Badman, not running in the position that I'm sure you'd have wanted or expected to have been from the qualifying session, gets a poor run there out of turn 5. Now that's going to invite Free Mrs. Palmer to have a look around the outside, and it's going to have to better line here through the final couple of corners as well. Here comes Free Mrs. Palmer. Can Free Mrs. Palmer keep it in play? Yes, absolutely. Keeps it within track limits and up into 4th place. So Badman's now got to watch out, because Ocean Crew also looking to try and knock him while he's down, but Badman has the slipstream off of Free Mrs. Palmer, which is going to help him out and help him defend that position potentially. Although Ocean Crew still looking down the inside, Badman has got that one held onto for now though, as Ash is tucking into that slipstream on the back of Ocean Crew. Thing is, when you put out the slipstream, the car in front of you is just going to hold the slipstream of the car in front, so makes it even harder, even though obviously we haven't got any straight mode or overtake, but even so, it's yeah, it's still a tricky one. But exciting opening few laps of the race here. The race battle for the lead is pretty much out of the window at the moment. Sedders seems to be in a league of his own in these early stages, especially in these conditions. We don't know whether the weather is expected to change. We know that obviously, because Ocean Crew told us in the qualifying session it was going to be a wet race, but we don't know if it's going to be wet for the whole thing or if it's going to be changeable. So at this point we're sort of just waiting to see what happens. But we've got Ernie here on the back of Dazza down towards the final couple of corners, just tucking in for the time being. Ernie's also got a penalty as well, which is going to hurt him towards the end of the race. Sedders with the fastest lap of the race there, so that shows the track maybe improving. Also the fuel loads are getting lighter, so that does help with the improvement in lap times. Ocean Crew on the back of Badman here in the battle for 5th place, as Free Mrs. Palmer now starting to make a bit of a break for it there in 4th place. And Badman didn't get a great run there through the first corner, but Ocean Crew not in range to really put him under too much pressure at this moment in time. Yeet Mendab right there with Ash as well, as this train of cars still fight it out here for what is technically, well, it's technically Mrs. Palmer who leads that train of cars, but obviously Mrs. Palmer seeming to pull away a little bit over the last few laps of the race. But in the meantime, Ernie's still sticking to the back of Dazza in that fight for 2nd place. That battle's settling down a bit. It doesn't look like Ernie's going to make that move just yet. He's been sat on the back of Dazza for a few laps, but hasn't really looked too much of a threat so far. Free Mrs. Palmer there with a 3-second penalty for track limits. Ocean Crew still on the back of Badman here in this fight for P5 as we're coming down the hill towards the final couple of corners once again here. So the driver who's going to be the prime threat here, I think, is probably Ocean Crew, because Badman's about a second up the road from Mrs. Palmer, which means that Mrs. Palmer's about a second up the road from Badman, so Badman doesn't have much of a slipstream here from the car in front. Ocean Crew could fancy a move here up to turn 2, potentially on board here with the Aston, with his teammate disappearing off into the distance up ahead. You can see not too far ahead at the moment, as Ocean Crew is going to potentially look down the inside. No, not just yet for Ocean Crew. Badman coming through the corner where he had that moment earlier on in the race when he was leading. At the moment, staying firm. But Ocean Crew there's got a nice run coming down towards turn 3, but just not close enough at the moment. Seems to be getting that toe and that overspeed just a bit too far down the straight. So it's not, the opportunity isn't really presenting itself so far here for Ocean Crew. In this situation, good straight line speed is what you want when there's no straight mode or overtake available. It helps you defend brilliantly. So Sedders there with the fastest lap of the race from the lead of the race. Gap almost 10 seconds now between Sedders and Dazza. He's flying at the moment. Here comes Ocean Crew, they're looking to the inside. Badman through the final corner as Badman gets very wide. Ocean Crew gets very twitchy on the exit. Now Ocean Crew could be vulnerable here to Ash, as Ash trying to thread the needle here, but Badman has been passed there by Ocean Crew at last, and Ash here looking to get around Yeatman up into 7th place, has done that one beautifully. Ash also looking up the inside of Badman there into turn 1, but Badman managed to hang that one around the outside there. Ash was poking nose up the inside as we come up the hill towards turn 2 once again. Badman's looking to try and come back at Ocean Crew, but here comes Ash looking up the inside into turn 2. This could be a great move here from Ash as we're side by side into the braking zone, and Badman there got a preferred line around the outside, that easier exit, and holds on to that one. Got a much better speed there coming out of the corner. Yeatman now waiting in the wings as well, looking to the inside of Ash into turn 3 down the hill, just a bit too far away at the moment. But tell you what, Badman is going backwards at this point, really seems to be struggling in the opening few laps of the race, having started this one in P2 and leading the opening couple of laps. But things have really taken a turn, and it's interesting to see the drivers that I think the top 3 were Clayt, Badman and Ernie, and Ernie's obviously up there fighting with Dazza at the moment. Oh, as Ash has made a mistake. Ash has spun out onto the grass and has retired from the race. Come on. Oh, that's a shame. To see a rage quit this early after he'd been driving so well in the opening few laps of the race, that's a real shame. That is a real shame to see Ash retiring from the race. It's not what you want to see. It's not what you want to see so early on. That's a shame. But I guess we move on. We've got Yeatman on the back of Clayt at the moment. So Yeatman I think might have made a mistake. Maybe had a collision there with Ash. I'm not 100% sure, because I mean Clayt's kind of got himself back into this fight a little bit here. He's been chipping away by the looks of it. Although that is Clayt's AI, isn't it? I mean, I don't know how this. I don't know how someone's AI is doing so well. Is it Clayt's AI because it's a ghost, which usually indicates that it's the AI, but AI seems to be doing far too well. This is very confusing to me. I mean, the AI seems to be a bit overpowered, if that is AI, because the fact that the AI is outperforming half the grid just seems a bit wrong to me. Anyway, early on the back of Dazza as they're coming through the final few corners here of lap 13 of this race. Leader Setters on lap 14. But Ernie's still keeping Dazza on his toes at the moment in this fight. So Dazza there weaving around trying to break the toe there from Ernie. Ernie doesn't appear to have the straight line speed of the McLaren at the moment. Seems to have good grip under braking and through slow corners, but my goodness me, spoke too soon there, didn't I? Jesus, that was a commentator's curse if I've ever seen one. Clayt in the meantime still the back of Badman in the fight for P6 and 7. Yeatman right with these guys as well. His Badman starting to get it together a little bit now. Tatty Man and Enksy here running pretty close in P9 and P10 at this point. Looks like Tatty Man is all over the place. They're weaving from side to side on the racing line, off the racing line, trying to collect some water maybe. So now Ocean Crew's in clean air ahead of Badman. Looks like he's closing that gap to free Mrs. Palmer. And these two Aston teammates here running line astern as they come into turn 1. So Ocean Crew, if he's got the pace, will be wanting to get waved by, but Free Mrs. Palmer's driven a great race so far. To be fair, these two are only 6 seconds off of the podium spots at the moment, so certainly still in that fight. Free Mrs. Palmer without a penalty, so Ocean Crew might be getting on the blower here to Free Mrs. Palmer and saying, look, I haven't got a penalty. Get me into some clean air and I can maybe chase after those guys and give them a fight for that P3 spot, especially with Ernie having a penalty as well. That could be an even better chance there, as Yeatman getting up into 7th place there ahead of Clayt, going down towards turn 3 should I say. And Enksy still in the back of Tatty Man at this point in this battle for P9. Ocean Crew's got ahead of Mrs. Palmer up into P4 now, so that's job done. Now Ocean Crew can try and chase after the podium runners. Gap about 6 seconds to Dazza and Ernie at this point, so certainly in that fight. A long way to go here in this race. With Ernie's penalty, that could bring Ocean Crew into the mix quite nicely. As Ute Mendab getting ahead of Badman up into P6. Now Clate is going to try and ghost through him as well. But Badman's had a very out of sorts race so far. Maybe if it dries up, we might be seeing Badman getting back into this, but for the time being, it's looking pretty grim for the Red Bull driver. Look at this, Ernie's right on the back of Dazza. We've seen it a few times. He doesn't have the straight line speed, does Ernie, but through these corners, this is where he's going to get it done if he's going to make it happen. As Dazza there, a little bit loose there going through the penultimate corner. But the thing is now, is that Badman, he can get a great exit out the final corner. That's not his problem. The problem is that down these straights, Dazza leaves him for dead. And Ernie just cannot get close enough. So Dazza at the moment just looking well clear of Ernie going into turn 1. Gets a horrible run there going through turn 1, but just as he's starting to accelerate, Dazza absolutely zooms off, and there's nothing Ernie can do about it at the moment. Try as he might, there's just nothing Ernie can do to get that P2 spot away, and Ocean Crew is reeling these two in. The longer that Ernie can't make that move on Dazza, the more it's going to bring this man here into play. Currently a second ahead of his teammate already, having been given the instruction, I think, Mrs. Palmer to make way about a couple of laps ago. And Ocean Crew could potentially be knocking Ernie down a position at the end with that penalty there for Ernie in the early stages of this race. Ernie obviously one of 6 drivers now to have picked up a time penalty for track limits. Mrs. Palmer, Ute Mendab, Tattyman, Enksy and John being the others. But Ernie's now at a crucial phase of this race where he needs to get past this McLaren, and he needs to do it soon. See Tattyman a bit wide there going out to the final corner. Enksy just seems to be a bit too far away still at the moment. In the meantime, Ernie's still on the back of Dazza, and Dazza getting wide there, going through on the exit of turn 5, and now this is going to be a golden opportunity here for Ernie to get this one done, but Dazza's still there on the inside with that straight line speed, just managing to get back alongside, but Dazza goes extremely wide. There's the cut back for Ernie. Now he needs to nail this final corner and get far enough ahead that Dazza can't get him on the straight, because we know how quick that McLaren is in a straight line. What can Ernie do now? He's got to defend through these next few corners, and this is the part of the track where Dazza's going to have an enormous advantage. Ernie needs to nail turn 1 here and absolutely fly away off of this corner, but he hasn't really done so too much, as we see Ocean Crew into the pits here at the end of lap 18. Half distance here in this Austrian Grand Prix. Now Ernie needs to defend to the inside, and looks like Dazza's too far back. Ernie now needs to get a good exit out of turn 2, and he will be out of threat and should be able to pull away here. Crucially, Ocean Crew, though, the driver who could knock Ernie off the podium here tonight, has brought it into the pits. So what's Ocean Crew going to do in terms of tyres? Actually, that's going to be crucial, because the race started so quickly. I didn't get a chance to get the tyres up on the formation lap because there wasn't one. So literally, I mean, they're all on inters, so it doesn't really make a difference. But Ocean Crew has just come out on fresh inters, so banking on the rain continuing and at the same intensity, which is a risk, because if it dries, then obviously you need to be on slicks, and if the rain gets heavier, then or continues to fall at the same rate even sometimes, you can have to switch to wets. So Ocean Crew there making an early switch there, which will give him a good undercut. The tyres will be nice and fresh. And we see now we've got Ernie and Dazza both, no sorry, Ernie covering off Ocean Crew by the looks of it, but Dazza staying out for the time being. So Ernie, after all that work to try and get ahead, comes into the pits moments after making the move, but into the box he comes nonetheless. Ernie putting on another set of intermediate tyres, no surprise there. Mrs. Palmer now coming in, as well as Yeet Mendab. Clay also into the pits here at the end of lap 19, so plenty of drivers coming in on lap 19. Seems to be a popular lap for a change onto a fresh set of intermediate tyres. Is that going to be the case across the board here? I think it is. For Mrs. Palmer, Yeet Mendab putting the intermediates on. Clay also doing likewise. Yanksy, Tatty Man, everyone putting on intermediate tyres here. What about John? Does John come in for some inters here at the end of this lap? It looks like he's not for the time being. But Badman here's on the back of Ernie in this fight for what is, well, third place, but obviously Ernie's just come out of the pits, so Ernie should be able to pull away quite easily over these next couple of laps. Setters into the pits here at the end of lap 20. Into the pits comes Setters, new tyres on there, and off and away he goes. Dazza's here coming into the pits as well. So let's see what Ernie's been able to do, obviously on this hour lap, because he came in a lap earlier than Dazza, which would have given him much fresher tyres. Can Ernie come out ahead of the McLaren driver? I think he is, quite comfortably as well. So Ernie there into clean air, Badman just behind him, comes out just ahead of Dazza as well. So Dazza needs to get his tyres warmed up. We'll have 1 lap fresher tyres. It's not going to make an enormous difference. He's got just over 2 seconds to make up on Ernie, who's got that penalty, but Ernie was chasing Dazza down over those last few laps of that first stint. It did appear as though Dazza had the pace in the early part of the previous stint when the tyres were fresh, and as the tyres wore down more, we saw Ernie certainly getting a bit of a second wind, so maybe Ernie being a bit more kinder to the tyres. Hello Nana, are you alright? Oh, just my nan saying hello. But we got Dazza here moving it back up ahead of Badman up into third place. Oh, and he's just gone wide there. Dazza has been passed there by Badman, which is not Dazza's getting back past Badman, should I say. So Badman made the move a few moments ago on those older tyres. Maybe Dazza's just struggling to get the tyres up to temperature a little bit here. Maybe he's just now starting to get into the groove, but he's made that move back ahead of Badman once again here. So no dramas so far, but he is a fair way behind Ernie at the moment, about 3 seconds behind, so he's lost a bit of time with that little battle there with Badman, as Badman now coming into the pits here at the end of lap 21. And Daz has got a 3-second penalty now, so that will be for track limits. So that's now going to mean that technically Ernie and Daz are now on the same boat essentially, because they've both got 3-second penalties. Badman coming out of the pits just ahead of Tatty Man and Enksy. So it's been a race to forget so far from Badman. Obviously much fresher tyres than these two, so should be able to pull away quite comfortably over the next couple of laps. But race has just really settled down here. There's not much going on at the moment. Setters with an enormous lead over Ernie of almost 20 seconds at this point. No penalties also for Setters, so kept his nose clean from the word go. And another fastest lap of the race there as well from the race leader, just to remind everyone tonight who's the boss. John there getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits, so seemingly John not having the night tonight around this Red Bull ring. Crucial thing for Ernie right now, he's pulling away from Dazza, so if Dazza hadn't got that penalty, Ernie would have been alright at this point anyway for that second place with the penalties, because he's over 3 seconds clear. But obviously Dazza getting that penalty as well as giving him that extra safety net here in his quest to try and get P2. So Ernie's gap to Ocean Crew about 6.5 seconds at the moment. So Ocean Crew could still be a threat to the podium places. In fact, he will be, because obviously Dazza is only 3 seconds ahead of Ocean Crew. So at this point, it's going to be nip and tuck between Dazza and Ocean Crew for that final podium place. But maybe Ocean Crew could be looking at a P2 here as well, with Ernie not too far up the road. But he'd have to negotiate the McLaren first, and he'd certainly have to get ahead of the McLaren, because Ernie is more than almost 4 seconds ahead of Dazza now. So Ocean Crew would have to negotiate Dazza first if he was to have any chance of getting P2 here tonight. But I'll tell you one battle that's certainly not up for negotiation, that is the lead battle here tonight, because there is no lead battle. It is Sedders first and everybody else second. He's absolutely knocked it out of the park so far here in this race. Bit of a slow burner to start off with, kind of settled in third place for the first few laps, and then overtook both Dazza and Ernie basically one straight after the other. Did Sedders into turn 2, did Dazza into turn 3, and then obviously Sedders got ahead. He didn't do Sedders, he is Sedders. Sorry, I meant to say he did Ernie into turn 2 and then Dazza into turn 3, and obviously from then on the rest is history. Sedders has just absolutely run off into the sunset here tonight. Tell you one thing, commentating when you've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning means that you constantly trip over your words. I mean, there's no like rhythm. There's no. It's just I'm constantly tripping over myself when I'm talking. I sometimes start talking about what's a person, then I'll start talking about the same person in a third person context. It's bizarre. You'll probably get to know me. You'll get used to it over time. But I do know what I'm talking about. Sometimes my words get mixed up. But Ash Gaming there says, I would have been okay if Spaz hadn't clipped my back tyre and maybe got off the track, but wasn't at the best time in the race. So I apologise to Ocean for just quitting. Sorry, Yeet Man, he says. Fair enough, Ash, fair enough. I assumed, I was quite cynical to begin with, and then I kind of put 2 and 2 together when I saw, obviously, what would happen there. I saw that, what's it, maybe, I can't remember, who was it? I don't know who you had the collision with now, but, yeah. Wait. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sorry, you're labelling Yeet Man quite an unkind term. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I assumed that you two had a collision because I saw that Yeet Man had dropped behind Clay, and obviously I saw that you had retired from the race from the grass, so I thought something might have happened between you two. Right, in the meantime, we've got a battle here for P9. It's obviously Tatty and YouTube Enksy here fighting over P9 as they're coming over the line here to start lap 26 of the race. So these two running pretty close together at the moment. They're about a couple of seconds behind Badman, having probably his worst race of the season, I would have thought. By the time we get to the end it will be, but YouTube Enksy still all over the back of Tatty Man at this point in his fight for 9th place as they come up towards turn 2, and what a move there, oh my goodness, bit too late there from Enksy, I've got to say. What a move, as in an incredible move. And Tatty there holds on for that one, but YouTube Enksy was very aggressive there on the brakes, a bit too aggressive I have to say, and there was damage on the cars, so hopefully for both of those two. My goodness me, Enksy, come on mate, Jesus Christ, he's trying to kill him. Enksy there goes steaming into the back of him there into turn 3. Is Tatty just braking like a tortoise, or is Enksy being unduly aggressive here? I'm not quite sure what's going on, but anyway, Tatty Man still in P9 at the moment. Ash says in other groups we call him Angry Spaz, which is his Discord name. Oh, fair dues. I get you. Not too familiar with this league at the moment. Obviously I'll learn as I go along. I'll become more familiar with the the what's it called? I'll become more familiar with the in-house jokes. But YouTube Banksy out of the race. So I think maybe that damage with Tatty Man might have cost him a race here. Ah, no worries, Ash, no worries. Thanks for racing. Sorry it didn't work out tonight. So here we have Bad Man closing up onto the back of Clate's AI here. It's a bizarre night for Clate. Obviously he took pole position in the qualifying session, but then since the race got going just hasn't looked like firing on all cylinders at all. I mean, hasn't been in the race as far as I can see. I don't know if it's the AI or whether it's a glitch, but he's been ghosting the entire race. It's a really confusing one because I mean he seems a bit too quick to be an AI, but unless the AI is just OP on F126, but it just seems to be far too quick but far too slow compared to what the qualifying times were like, so it really doesn't make much sense to me at all. Anksy says, Odyssey, that was horrible from Tatty Man. Braking too harsh, leaving no room. Sliding and braking and moving. Impossible to pass. Absolute joke. We got span out at the start. Right back and then got back to P10. Did look like a bit of a late move, Anksy, to be fair, but I don't know what happened. It's hard to tell because obviously I was riding on board with you and I could see that your closing speed was enormous. But I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. My sound's quite low as well, so I couldn't really tell how late you braked, but I could see that obviously you braked a lot later than he did. But I don't know if it was him braking early or you braking late, or whether it was just a combination of the two. Looks like Clate's AI has managed to pull away a bit from Bad Man over the last couple of laps here. Over a second between those two at this point. And Bad Man, I tell you what, a night to forget for this man who's won many races and many championships on this F125 game. Obviously now on the F126 DLC. I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of that, but tonight is not going to be a stepping stone towards it. I can tell you that for sure. I will admit I was a little slow on the brakes, but still, if you saw he was moving whilst under braking, couldn't do much about it. To be fair, yeah, I accept that, because if you see someone out braking themselves, closing on you, the smart thing to do is to straighten out, let them miss their braking point, let them go straight on, and then turn in. I mean, that's the smart thing to do when you see that. So, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what I do in that situation. If I see the guy behind me's out braked himself, I'll just straighten the car, move to the racing line, and just let them go straight on. That's the smart thing to do. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, I called it very much skeptically towards yourself when I was watching it live, Anksy, I have to say. Got to be honest, but I could be wrong. I'm not always right. I'm calling it live as well. I'm watching it as I see it. I'm calling it as I see it. I don't have time to analyse it. So yeah, see what they say. I guess it's worth a try. Got John coming into the pits here at the end of lap 31. So what's he going to put on? Is he putting the wets on? Let's have a look. Yeah, wet tyres there for John. Interesting call with 5 laps left. We've got Engsy says, I will admit, great comments from you and quite thrilling to hear whilst driving. Wow, you listen to it while you're driving? I can't do it. I raced in a couple of leagues with commentators and I found that every time my name was mentioned, I just ended up binning it. So I couldn't do it. But fair play. I mean, it was quite fun the first couple of times when I had someone commentating. The reason why I started commentating was because I raced in a league where someone else commentated, and I kind of really enjoyed it. I mean, I first started commentating because I started commentating on open lobbies. I remember I crashed out of a race and just started commentating, and people were like, "Oh, that's actually pretty decent." So I started doing it then. But then, in terms of leagues, I always preferred racing until I heard someone else commentating during a race that I was racing in, and yeah, I just got into it from that. But I found it really exciting the first couple of times, and then after a while I realised that whenever someone starts talking about me, I always end up having a crash. So I thought I'm probably better off not having it on in the background. Batman's been passed by Clates AR here, but he's trying to come back at him. And he says, I think I'll give it a go, but I want to do comms with someone else, like the F1 races, so if I miss something then they can talk about it. You have a slight French accent, that's alright, doesn't matter. Commentated with people of many different nationalities. As long as you speak good English, it's not a problem. Not even good English, just decent English. It's absolutely fine. I think Mrs. Palmer says has got a 3-second penalty there for, I guess, more track limits. Oh, heads up. See you later. It's my nan. She'll be back. John's got a 3-second penalty there for track limits on his wet tyres. What time is he doing actually? It'll be interesting to see how he's getting on the wet tyres. Obviously they're a lot slower, they're a lot more draggy, but they're pretty good through the traction zones. You can get onto the power quite easily on the wet tyres. But saying that, I mean, there's still a big dry line, although the rain is falling quite heavily now. But there's still, well, I won't say a dry line, it's not a dry line, but it's... Oh god, I can hear some shouting. Anyway, let's ignore it. Midab and Badman still running pretty close here in this fight for P6 and 7. We've got Clay has dropped off of this battle a little bit now. Obviously Clate's AI seems to be struggling to keep up with the Red Bull. Badman's now bringing the gap down to Yeet Mendab in this fight for P6 as Yeet Mendab there trying to break the toe. I think also trying to pick up some wet spots as well. But 3 laps left to go here for these two. And almost penultimate lap here for the race leader Sellers, who has been absolutely on another level here tonight. What a performance it's been so far, and it's looking like it's going to be, well, an almost certain race win unless something catastrophic happens in the final 2 laps of the race. What can Baban here do on the back of Yeet Mendab in these final couple of laps of the race, though? It's going to be interesting to see. He's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at him, though, if he wants to get this P6. So he got in the locker at a race that's been an absolute disaster for this multiple champion, and with a whole host of race wins to his name on F1 25, this F1 26 night to night for round 4 of this 10 round season here at Red Thunder has not been the way he'd have wanted it to go at all, as he now looks to the outside here. This Badman on Yeet Mendab. Yeet Mendab leaving the space there on the outside for Badman to chance it, but he covers it off for the time being. Yeet Mendab looking good on the brakes there going into the penultimate corner. Now Batman's going to look to try and get around down the start-finish straight, but Yeet Mendab looks to have it covered for the time being as we start their penultimate lap of the race, and the race leader will soon be coming around to start his final lap of the race here as he slides it around the last corner. Look at the confidence that Sedders has got in that car. He's got the confidence to let that rear end just step out nicely as he tiptoes around the corner. And what a drive it has been from Sedders here tonight, as he's just got one more tour of this Red Bull Ring to go, and he will be the race winner here for round 4 of this Red Thunder Racing F1 League Season 1. As next week will obviously be the halfway point in the season, and this is the first race that I commentated on, so joined at a good time to get involved with the league starting up, and obviously the championship standings will be starting to take shape. I'm not sure what they are actually. I haven't had a chance to look at them, so we'll go through that quickly at the end of the stream. But anyway, as said, is here. It's not about the championship standings here tonight. It is about an absolutely magnificent performance and a very one-sided affair, as Badman has finally got ahead of Yeet Mendab up into P6, and that is job done by the looks of it. It's not too close between those two, so he's done that one excellently as Badman. But Sedders here through the final few corners of this lap, after starting, it was P3 or 4 I think it was for Sedders on the grid. And to be honest, took a while to get into the lead, but once he did not look back. A bit of a slide as he's absolutely ragging that Williams around. Here he comes up towards the line. Sedders is going to take an incredibly impressive Austrian Grand Prix victory here tonight at the Red Thunder Racing League. Absolutely brilliant performance here from Sedders. Totally left them in his wake and destroyed the field here tonight at the Red Bull Ring. Ernie's going to come around in a few moments time. It's going to be second place here, a long way behind, but clear of Dazza running in third place. So it's going to be Ernie for a second place. Now, how many penalties has Dazza got? It's 3 seconds, so Dazza will be on the podium. Ocean Crew not too far away, but he's not going to get there in time. So Ernie there, P2, and Dazza. Oh, I tell you what, the gap's coming down. I think it's just a bit too late here for Ocean Crew though. Dazza up towards the line. It's going to be P3, and Ocean Crew was only a few tenths away from making it a podium position. But it's Dazza P3, Ocean Crew 4th. Free Mrs. Palmer will be the next over the line in a few moments' time, as we see just coming into the final corner now. So Free Mrs. Palmer will come home in P5. As there we go. So it's Tatty Man has finished the lap down in 9th. John 10th place. Badman with the next driver over the line to finish this one in 6th. Clear of Clate running in 7th place, as Yeet Mendab appears to have dropped it on the final lap of the race. So Clate 7th, Yeet Mendab over to take P8. But Sedders, the man of the moment here tonight. What a performance here for this 4th round of this 10-round season for Red Thunder Racing Season 1. And that is an absolutely spectacular job there in these wet conditions, the tricky conditions. As Yeet Mendab there says, ran out of fuel. Oh, that is absolutely gutting. But to be fair, the fumes get you around on the F1 game, which is a good thing. It's good thing it's not a sim game, I tell you, because if you run out of fuel on a sim, that's it. You're done. But the fumes are enough to let you coast around on F1, I think. Anyway, I think on this game, as on previous games anyway. But that is that, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks to drivers for watching us back afterwards. If you did enjoy, then I'm delighted that you did, to be honest. And we'll see you for the next one. Hopefully back on Wednesday next week. Should be on this permanently. Should be able to make all, if not, or most if not all of the races. And yeah, cheers everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.